Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So on today's video, I'm going to talk about and discuss a stock that I really regret not buying more quantities. So this is the stock that I'm talking about. It is called as VIP Industries. I have a little bit of position in this stock. I'm already sitting on approximately 50% gains. Super happy with that, but also sad at the same time that I did not purchase more quantities of this stock. And my story of this stock is very similar to my DMart story. I always wanted to purchase DMart. Every time I wanted to purchase the stock and I ran the numbers, the prices came out to be high. So I thought that, I'll buy it when the stock price falls, and it is not falling. So I've missed out on purchasing DMart. Similarly, let's find out if I really missed out on purchasing VIP more, and at what level should I be buying more of this stock, and whether or not you should be taking positions in it. So I have also created a small case. So I will add more stocks to Indian monopolies. I will add VIP to that stock portfolio also at the right buying level. So please check my small case that I've created. The links are in the description box. It will give you more idea on the type of the stocks that I'm investing in. Please watch the video till the very end. Super fascinating video. I assure you that you will like a lot. You will learn a lot about VIP travel industry, and you will further expand upon your stock market knowledge. So let's first and foremost understand, and I will speak in three very simple points. First, let me speak in terms of the opportunities that I see for VIP. Why is it that I feel VIP can grow and to what level it can grow? That's one. Second, let me talk a little bit about the competition and the threats that exist for VIP. Third and finally, I will talk about the buying levels and what are the right buying levels according to me for this stock. So let's first and foremost take a very quick look as to what VIP does. I'm sure that all of us understand what VIP does. It's a luggage making company. You see these suitcases, handbags, different things. So it's there in travel industry. As travel industry took a hit due to COVID, VIP stocks also took a lot of hit. It's a mid cap stock, very old brand. And look at the market share. So the market share for VIP in the luggage industry is 46%. Now you'll get super impressed. You'll say, Akshat, almost a monopoly, your favorite type. At one point, this used to be around 53-54%. It has come down in the last several years. And that is the reason why I took a little bit of exposure in this stock, because I kept waiting for the results and then redoing my analysis, and I missed out on that. Okay. Now, before I start analyzing VIP stock per se, let me very quickly comment on the structure of the Indian luggage market. So essentially, there are four different types of players in the Indian luggage market. One is VIP, right? Then you have Samsonite, right? Then you have Safari, and then you have a very large unorganized sector, right? Unorganized sector. Now, this is very important for us to understand because VIP is like literally number one player. Samsonite is number two, right? Safari is a distant third, right? So compared to VIP and Samsonite, Safari is a growing brand, right? Growing brand, right? And this sector is the largest because this market share that you're seeing, this is for the organized sector. But if you take a look at unorganized sector, there's a lot of potential left. Few years ago, this unorganized sector used to make up 60-65% of the sales. Now it's making around 50% of the sales. So the game that is going on in the luggage industry is very simple, that these three companies are trying to take market share from here. A lot of times we analyze, and this is a mistake that I also made, and that is one of the reasons why I did not buy a lot of VIP stock, was that Safari has been taking away a lot of market share from VIP. And this is the analysis that I did. That is the conclusion that I reached to. And that is the reason why I took less position on VIP. But over time, I realized that what is happening in the market is that these companies are actually not competing within one another. Yes, they are to a certain extent. That's the obvious story. But the deeper story is that these companies are competing for more market share from unorganized sector. They're trying to organize the entire market and grow their sales. There is a lot of scope in this sector, segment and industry. That is first key point that you must understand. And the second key point in this industry is that the barriers to entry are very high, right? What do I mean by high barriers to entry? So let me give you an example. So for example, when VIP comes out with a suitcase, right? Now this suitcase requires a lot of shelf space, because how is it that VIP is going to sell this suitcase to you? They are going to contact like retailers, distributors, all that stuff, right? And these retailers, distributors have to put this suitcase, this is a horribly drawn suitcase, but they are going to put this suitcase on their shelf, right? Now a bulk item or a big item like suitcase takes a lot of shelf space. So all this retail distribution network needs to be managed really well. So there is a reason why we only have like three really good companies here, VIP, Safari and Samsonite. These three companies are big in this space because new players cannot enter this market very easily and start compelling retailers and distributors to put such a bulky item on their shelf. So this shelf space war, it is there on FMCG, it is there for a bunch of different companies, but this is especially true for such large sized items that retailers and distributors are only going to take franchises or are only going to store material that they are sure that will sell. Otherwise, if for example, I launch a new suitcase company, Akshat's brand, and I ask a retail player to put it on its shelf, they will not do it because they don't know if Akshat's brand will sell or not. This is one of the key reasons why other players are not entering this market so easily. A lot of players have tried to do it. I'll explain this point subsequently also, but this is a very difficult market for companies to break into. Okay, so with that understanding, let us take a very quick look at the financials of VIP. So if we take the numbers from 2012, you can see that the sales have generally grown. So it's a good company that has been consistently growing its sales. Okay, so if we take a look at the data from 2013, you will see that the company has almost consistently grown its sales. The last 2 years have been really bad, and of course, it's like goes even without saying that COVID 2020 would have impacted the travel industry the most. So the numbers are bad. For the last 2 years, they are picking up because the travel has started to open. So of course, there is like no problem per se till 2019 with the way VIP performed in terms of sales. The sales were constantly growing. Now, were these sales growing profitably? So for this, we can check the net profit. So you can say that, okay, the sales have been growing profitably as well. So this is a high ROCE, return on capital employed type of a company with growing sales. Great material, and this was the reason why I invested in this company to begin with, right? Now, one very quick point that I want to touch upon is the external comparison of VIP with Safari Industries, because over the last few years, Safari Industry has taken away a lot of market share from VIP. So let me do a very quick comparison and let me point out to two very important points here. One is that the 5-year ROCE. So as I was saying that VIP has a very high ROCE, return on capital employed. So they have a ROCE of 24% and Safari has an ROCE of 15%. Huge difference, right? Because they almost sell same type of stuff. Of course, category differentiation that Safari Industry makes product for general masses. VIP are slightly more wider range of products. So they have different classes. I'll talk about that also in a bit. But essentially the point that you need to notice that Safari is trying to grow rapidly. They don't care too much about the ROCE at this stage. VIP is very hell-bent in terms of preserving its margin. They want to go profitably. That's one. Second, if you take a look at the promoter holding of Safari, they have in fact cut down their promoter holding. Now, a lot of people comment a lot that, okay, promoter holding has been shrunk. Promoter holding has gone down. So there must be something wrong in the company. No, that's half the analysis. I don't know how people reach such conclusions. You need to understand that Safari Industry is trying to grow rapidly because they understand that, if we don't scale up now, we will lose the battle for at least 2 decades from VIP. So we have no option but to do equity financing. Equity financing means that you are selling your shareholding equity to raise more money for the firm. So that's a capital allocation decision beyond the scope of this video. But bottom line is that when you see this does not mean that there is something wrong with Safari Industry. Safari Industry has a very different goal. The goal of Safari Industry is market expansion. The goal of VIP Industry is to grow profitably and maintain its ROCE. So what is happening right now in the market is that you will read a lot of news that Safari Industry is taking a lot of share price, a lot of market share away from VIP Industries. How are they doing it? Because they are engaging into discounting. They are engaging into increasing the distribution or retailer margin. They are doing a bunch of different things to increase their market share because Safari Industries' goal is to capture market share. They are not worried about ROCE as of now. So when you start comparing VIP Industries in accordance with Safari Industries, keep this point in mind, and this is where I also made a mistake when I initially analyzed this share, that I did the analysis, but the goal with which these two companies are operating are very different. Okay, so with this said, let me explain the 4 key advantages or growth prospects that VIP has. So number 1 is the legacy, right? Legacy. Now, this plays into a bunch of different things that since VIP is a very old brand, right? And same goes for Samsonite and Safari also. Since VIP is a very old brand and new entrants can't come into the market that easily, VIP has something called as legacy. It gives them access to better capital. It gives them access to better retailers, distributors. It gives them access in terms of brand value. So they don't have to do a lot of advertising. As per this particular report, VIP spends only 5 to 6% of its entire budget in marketing. This is very similar to companies like Pidilite, right? Which are again leading industry players like Fevicol. So Pidilite makes Fevicol. So these type of companies will always maintain very high ROCE, return on capital employed, because they don't have to do like insane amount of marketing. Now you'll say, Akshat, I have read about like Alia ji, right? So she started advertising for VIP, one of the brands for VIP. So who is paying her? She must be charging like crores and crores. Yes, she must be, but given the fact that VIP is not taking extensive amount of marketing, it's a good sign. They only have a budget of 120 to 150 crores in terms of marketing, and they are spending it very frugally and intelligently. And one of the key reasons why they are able to do that is legacy. That people already are aware of VIP brand. You tell me, are you aware of VIP brand or not? So I'm quite aware of VIP brand. It's not as if that I got to know about VIP because Alia ji started doing advertisements for VIP. I knew about it, right? Just growing up, I had heard about VIP a lot. So that is the benefit of these type of brands like Pidilite, Fevicol. Again, you would have heard of it. Fevicol need not keep on doing advertising in order to explain them what their brand is. So these type of brands are very powerful because of their legacy. There are a bunch of advantages that they hold, and these advantages are very hard to beat. The second key advantage of VIP is the high ROCE, right? So what happens is that they are trying to deliberately grow profitably. They are not worried about the Safari brand that, what Safari brand is coming. They are taking market share from us. Why is that? This is where I also missed the trick earlier, because number one, they already control a big market share, 46%, not bad. And what is happening is that this entire size of the luggage market is increasing. Why? As I explained earlier, that because of the unorganized sector entering into this domain, the market size itself is increasing. So even if VIP technically only has, let's say 5 years from now, only 40% of this entire market, but if this market grows from A to B, right, the size of this B becomes big, then what will happen? That overall sales numbers are going to go up for VIP. So they want to continue to grow profitably. Therefore, they are preserving their ROCE and ROE. That is what is more important to them. And it's a very high profitable ROCE and ROE business. Now, the third point is that VIP has a success story. They have been able to make several of their new launches super successful. So here are a couple of paragraphs for you, and I'll read this with you. That the company has demonstrated the ability to launch and scale up new brands, Skybags and Caprice. I don't know how Caprice is pronounced. This is where Alia ji does the advertisements, which were introduced after 2010, contributed to 45% of sales for VIP today. So very fresh brands, gaining good market traction, good sign that VIP in the last decade has been able to scale up these brands. What does this point to VIP? A, it can grow profitably. It's not madness that they are raising money and, burning that money to grow sales. No, they are doing it very, very profitably. They have been able to build these brands. Good money being spent, so sensible management. That's a very important point to consider. Also, Skybags have been launched in 2011, is already number one brand by value, right? And Caprice has crossed over rupees 1.3 billion in sales. So good sales number, very strong brand building activity. They know they have a history of building brands with good legacy. So this allows them to launch more and more brands if the need be going forward. Now, the fourth key advantage for VIP is the changing industry trends. Now, there are multiple industry trends that are shaping up the luggage business, but there are two trends that I will speak about. So, the first key trend that I'm going to speak about is the nature of the product itself. So, right now, what you will see is that right now, if you take a look at the product mix, you will see that 28% of VIP's business comes from hard luggage and 72% comes from soft luggage. Now, hard luggage is like, which you can touch and feel and, it will be clunky. These are the type of suitcases that you usually carry in airports and all that stuff, right? Soft luggage is slightly older variant, so to say, right? Now, why is this such a big deal? Because this entire soft luggage business, it requires slightly high-end manufacturing and is more labor intensive. And right now, majority of this manufacturing happens outside India. But this hard luggage, this can be manufactured in India. So what will this do? This will improve the ROCE of existing companies further. Now, this is something that can be verified from the management discussion that happened on 25th May. So I'll put the snippet somewhere here. And you can see that people are buying more hard luggage than soft luggage right now. So this was a trend that was established. And VIP also confirmed that yes, we have lost market share in the last 2 years. And this was number one reason why I did not invest more of my money in this particular stock. And because I felt that this is a very alarming sign, but they probably are not too bothered about the market share story right now, especially given that this is a growth industry. Alright, and here is a paragraph about the hard luggage thing, that all three large players traditionally have used India as a manufacturing base for hard luggage, and the customer trends are shaping towards hard luggage. Hard luggage manufacture is less labor intensive as the main case is plastic, this, that. And also the soft luggage comes from China, and now of course the disruption with China is there and bunch of different things. So it does not impact the industry because the customer trends are shaping here. Now, the second key trend, as I had earlier said, is that this industry is getting more and more organized. With each passing day, almost all the industries in India are getting organized. For example, if you take a look at education coaching institutes, then in the past you used to go to local tuitions. Now they will get wiped out. Now you have different big tech companies that are literally taking market share from these local teachers. Therefore, the education industry has gotten very organized. Similarly, the luggage industry is also getting more and more organized. You must have heard of the phrase that India's GDP actually depends on the unorganized sector, and majority of our GDP comes from there, so to say. You must be aware of the fact that India is mostly an unorganized market. Now, with each passing day, it is getting more and more organized. So VIP can actually play a major role in this journey. So these are the major trigger points that I feel makes something like VIP a multi-bagger stock going forward in the future. Now, what are the key threats that are there for VIP? Now, the first key threat was that Safari is growing at approximately 24% a year, which is massive growth, and it has taken market share away from VIP. But a key argument or a key rebuttal here would be that VIP is present across all three segments. It is available for people who want to buy like low value items, mid value items and high value items, because they have Alia ji also, right, as a brand ambassador of Caprice bags. Now, with Safari, it is mostly geared towards the general masses. So, yes, Safari is discounting the prices, taking market share away from VIP, but for how long can it do it? So that is the reason why I feel a little bit more comfortable making bets on VIP compared to Safari. That is point one. But again, you can make the argument that, you know what, Safari is trying to get its foothold in general masses, and then subsequently it is going to up-launch its product or upsell its product. It is going to launch like mid-variants, high-variant product also. Then it can become like a true competitor to VIP. So let's see how this game plays out. There are both pros and cons to this. You let me know which share are you going to buy, both or just one, and which bet are you taking. Currently, my bet is on VIP. Now, the second key threat is the e-commerce sales threat. Now, here what is happening is that you have companies like Amazon that are launching Amazon Basics. They monitor all the items that are being sold through their websites, and then they can create their own in-house products like a suitcase and call it Amazon Basics. That is a brand that they are building, and they have tried doing it in the luggage market, but they failed. What was the reason? The reason was that people do not like to buy suitcases without feeling and touching them like shoes, right? So to say. So from that angle, the Amazon Basics experiment in this luggage sector did not carry forward. But having said this, Amazon can always rework its analytics and come back into the market very, very strongly, and it will do it at some stage. So this is a major threat which I'm more worried about in this industry. Now, third and final threat for VIP is the market landscape. Now, what is happening in the market is that you have brands like Samsonite. So they launched a brand called as American Tourister, and it has gained a lot of popularity. And this is a slightly premium brand. So with VIP, what is happening is that at the low end, it is struggling to fight with Safari, and at the high end, it is struggling to somewhat fight with something like American Tourister. So VIP is a brand that is trying to do everything, and probably with time, it might struggle, it might not struggle. We don't know for sure. We'll have to monitor the development. So I'm keeping a close eye on it. Now you would say, Akshat, okay, then why is it that you're believing in the VIP story? Because Samsonite is taking away market share for high-end clients. Safari is taking away market share for low-end clients for VIP. Then why is it that you're believing? The reason is that the ROC is intact. Now, with the power of having more money, VIP can also get into the game of discounting heavily. The moment they do it, their sales will pick up, no doubt, because resorting to price cutting is the easiest thing for the firm to do, so to say. But growing profitably, consistently, that is very hard, and VIP has done it consistently. So no matter how we look at the VIP stock, the analysis tells us that VIP is a very strong stock, at least for a few years. Yes, challenges are there and we need to monitor it closely. But fundamentally speaking, it is a very, very sound stock. Okay, so what is it that you and I should be doing? What are the buying levels? So let's take a very quick look at this. So what are the buying levels? So right now, if you take a look at this, so you will see that, okay, the stock is trading at almost its lifetime high, slightly lower than its lifetime high. Good time to buy the stock. I'm not buying it as of now. I'll just wait for the stock to consolidate at some level. It might go up. So in the short term, I'm not buying it. I will just wait for the stock to consolidate. There are no technical indicators per se that are giving us a cue that you should go ahead and jump and buy this stock. I will just wait for the stock to correct and consolidate, and then I'm looking to pick large quantities in that stock. So I'll keep you posted. Meanwhile, do check the small case description. You will need to download the app. Only then you can get access to it. So do it through your mobile app. I hope you enjoyed the video, and whenever I'm buying this stock, I'll let you know. Thank you so much, and I will see you the next time.